Good morning, Saturday morning from here at WYYZ. Welcome back to Patriotic Dragon Radio this July 16th, beautiful Saturday morning here in Jasper, Georgia. As always, Patriotic Dragon Radio is heard on WYYZ, 1490 AM and 102.7 FM, your hometown radio here in Jasper, Georgia. And as always, the opinions and the comments are those of the guest and not necessarily those of WYYZ, Patriotic Dragon Radio, or our sponsor. Our sponsor this month is Senator David Perdue, our junior senator from Georgia, who wants all Georgians to know he is working to solve the issues for us here in Georgia, as well as citizens in the entire U.S. First, today I want to start out with offering our prayers and our thoughts go out to the citizens of France as well as Tunisia who have suffered again at the hands of radical Islamic terrorism. And here's what we know so far. I'm sure you've heard the reports and seen the reports on your local news, but the alleged terrorist drove a truck through the streets and killed 86 adults, children, and some teenagers, and injured another 202. Hopefully not, but I'm sure that there are going to be some others of that 202 that were injured who are critical that may not make it, but we will keep them all in our thoughts and prayers. So I'm pleased to announce this week several great and I hope very informative shows that we'll be doing the end of the month. Our July 23rd program, we will have on Judge Alan Wigington and the group from the Highlands Rivers Foundation group offering information on our mental health care for young adults and teens in our area. A tremendous amount of services offered by the Highland Rivers Group. And then on July 30th, the program, we will have on with us Gina Penley and the group with the Georgia Mountain Hospice to discuss senior mental health services and those issues and what are available. So today's topic for me is a tough one as it pertains to servicemen and servicewomen. Today marks the anniversary of the Fallen Five in Chattanooga, Tennessee. These fine servicemen lost their lives due to an act of hatred and the terrorism here in our own country. I want to remember these lives by giving you a small sense of who they were. And just bear with me, I'm a little slow here. Oh, the fallen soldiers, the fallen Marines. Here are the names of the 5 Marines killed in the Thursday, July 16th, 2005 shooting in Chattanooga, and who we remember this weekend, July 16th, 2016, in Chattanooga as well as around the country. First, Gunnery Sergeant Thomas Sullivan. Sullivan was a 40-year-old native of Springfield, Massachusetts. He served 2 tours of duty in Iraq and received 2 Purple Hearts and a Combat Action Medal. His brother, John Sullivan, has changed his Facebook profile picture to a split shot of a smiling Thomas in uniform and to a black ribbon over the Marine Corps logo. The ribbon has the words, "In Remembrance," and below it appears, "Rest in peace, Tommy." Staff Sergeant David Wyatt. Sergeant Wyatt was a native of Russellville, Arkansas, and he is survived by his wife and 2 children. David Wyatt and Sergeant Sullivan were friends even on Facebook. Closer to home, Lance Corporal Skip Squire Wells, a Georgia native, 21 years old, who attended Georgia Southern University before joining the Marines. Wells had only recently graduated from boot camp, and a posting on his Facebook page said, "Skip Wells, it was one of the pleasures of my life to have had the chance to know you. I will forever have a void in my life that can never be filled." And we'll talk a little bit more in the show about his mother and the remembrance today, on July 16th, that Mrs. Wells was able to put together along with some other people. I hope you'll enjoy it and be inspired by that process. Sergeant Carson Holquist, a native of Grantsburg, Wisconsin. Sergeant Holmquist lived in Jacksonville, North Carolina, home to our fine Marine Corps training facilities there. Randall Smith, he was a logistics specialist in the U.S. Navy, and he was serving there in Chattanooga. He's from Paulding, Ohio. His mother said Smith was the son that every mother could be proud of, and was more than proud to be in the U.S. Navy. Sergeant Dennis Padego Jr. was one of the responding Chattanooga police officers. He was shot in the ankle, survived the incident. Padego's from Cave City, Kentucky, and was released after the shootings last year, but will be at the remembrance this weekend in Chattanooga. And in that standpoint, tremendous amount of things going on in Chattanooga to remember the fallen five. They're going to have, this morning they actually had a 5K run, 1 mile for each one of the fallen soldiers. At 10 o'clock, the presentation of the Star Spangled Banner, the manning of the rails, which is a naval, attributed to the Navy in regards there. And then at approximately 11 o'clock, which was when the first shots rang out during the terror attack there in Chattanooga, will be the tolling of the bell, in which the bell from the USS Chattanooga will be rang in remembrance of the fallen five. There's also a permanent lighting that will be done to illuminate the mural that artist Kevin Bates did of the 5 fallen servicemen, and that'll be powered up this evening during the Chattanooga Remember ceremony at right around sundown at 9 o'clock. This again for the 1-year anniversary of the terrorist attack. That mural occupies a 22-foot high by 100-foot wall in the 1700 block of Macaulay Avenue in downtown Chattanooga. Several other things. Last night, the Nightfall event at the riverfront area with Operation Song, which we're going to talk about as well, which includes compositions by family members of the fallen five. That event and that music actually played last night at the concert on the 15th. They're having a blood drive, hosting a Nuga Strong drive daily through Saturday at donation centers across the region. The nonprofit agency will also have a mobile blood drive station near the finish line of the Chattanooga Heroes Run from this morning, and you can find a donation center from there. The event from this morning was the Chattanooga Heroes Run and Walk, the 5-mile run walk with 1 mile for each life lost began at the Naval Operations Support Center and the Marine Corps Reserve Center there on Amicalola Highway. And then it followed the path part of the way down where the emergency workers followed on July 16th, 2015. The route then connects to the Tennessee Riverwalk, which winds through the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga campus and then ends on 5th Street, just south of the Challenger Center, with a 1 mile kids run as well through the UTC campus. Okay, so, and then also this morning we had, or yesterday morning, had this morning, had a memorial ride with motorcycle riders beginning at 9:30 for the Nuga Strong Memorial Ride. Started at Thunder Creek Harley Davidson there on Lee Highway, and then a riders meeting was scheduled for 10:30. Kickstands were up at 11, and the ride ends at the Chattanooga National Cemetery. Proceeds from that event were going to the Wreath Across America, which hopefully is, most of you are aware of the wreaths that are placed on the graves of our fallen soldiers at the national cemeteries across the U.S. Mayor Andy Burke there in Chattanooga will lead that memorial ceremony, and then as well as the ringing of the bell, and it'll that program during the day today will conclude with an opportunity for all those in attendance to drop flower petals into the Tennessee River. This afternoon, Chattanooga Strong Together, From Grief to Hope, will be an event with faith leaders. Will be gathering at 2:30 p.m. in the UTC University Center for a program aimed at seeking healing and unity among the various socio-religious groups in the community. Joining them will be former Congressman Mark Salander, author of Deadly Misunderstanding, a Congressman's Quest to Bridge the Muslim-Christian Divide. He will speak on how to harness the power of faith for building bridges of understanding and reconciliation. Then after hours at the Chattanooga Zoo, they'll also have a Nuga Strong component to their events there at Q and Brew, and the Chattanooga Unite at Riverfront Nights will be that'll be preceding the opening night of the concert series there at Ross's Landing, and again followed by the illumination of the mural at approximately 9 p.m. There on Macaulay Avenue. So just a tremendous amount of outpouring in that community over the events, and to remember those young men and that served our country and served so well. Also, the Chattanooga Lookouts will be having a game this weekend and on Saturday, and they'll have a special edition of those T-shirts with Nuga Strong. Those will be available to purchase for $20, with 100% of the proceeds will go to the 716 Freedom Fund. The 716 Freedom Fund was put together to provide post-secondary scholarships and help pay expenses for the families of those affected by the 716 shooting in Chattanooga. The players, the coaches, and the fans are invited to participate in a moment of silence during the match. And special graphics will be displayed on the Jumbotron honoring each of the fallen soldiers. Mayor Andy Burke will be speaking to the community just before the kickoff at 7:30. And it's an important day for us, but a more important day for the city, said Sean McDaniel, General Manager for Chattanooga FC. This is our home, and we want to honor the fallen Marines and sailor and demonstrate how we are a stronger community than ever before. Speaking about the games, the Dutch Lions are a great team. They jumped up and surprised Tulsa Athletics last week, and we need to make sure we're fully prepared. Our starters are rested and ready to go, hoping for a strong result. Tickets for the Saturday match are $10 and available online at ChattanoogaFC.com as well as the ticket booths. So, as I say, tremendous amount of things going on there. And you've heard me mention Operation Song Chattanooga. Operation Song is actually a group of songwriters in the Nashville area who put together a group to work with veterans from previous wars, including Vietnam, Korea, and then, of course, Iraq and Iran and Afghanistan, those conflicts as well, to give them some way to actually put their feelings into songs as a way of a therapy and to get it out there. If you get a chance to go to Operation Song Chattanooga or just Operation Song, they're based in Nashville, Murfreesboro area, with several songwriters working together to actually put this thing out there. Last night was the introduction of the songs written about the Fallen Five and paying a tribute to the strengths of Chattanooga. That was last night on Friday at the 6:45 kickoff of the Nightfall concert series. And so it was a great event. And two of the songwriters who've worked on this were from the Nashville area, Steve Dean and Don Goodman, working on this Operation Song Chattanooga, as well as several of the other artists who actually did the singing, but Steve Dean and Don Goodman actually did the writing of the songs for the people. And just to give you a little more background on Operation Song itself, these are actually songwriters, producers, and veterans who actually do the work. And let me step back here and give you a little information about them. They are a Tennessee-based, not-for-profit program that brings active duty troops and veterans together with professional songwriters in a therapeutic and creative setting to help them tell their stories. Operation Song's mission is to empower veterans and active duty military to tell their stories through the process of songwriting in a creative and therapeutic setting. You can reach Operation Song either at area code 844-967-7664 or at www.operationsong.org. So, of course, they'll take donations. If you know a veteran that you'd like to have be able to go to those events and the resources, let me give you some of those, because they're actually not just in the Nashville area and obviously not just in Chattanooga. The part of the veterans operations there, they've got for Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America. They also have information on post-traumatic stress disorder, the militarymentalhealth.org, and Operation Stand Down Nashville, which is a primary resource for veterans in the Middle Tennessee area, which provides social services including transitional housing or referrals, employment readiness training, and job placement assistance, and also coordination with other agencies providing those services. So, a tremendous amount of information and just a great group of people from the Operation Strong. And let me pull up a little bit more on it. Contacts more. Yeah. All right. Again, operationsong.org. So we'll put that out there. And then just to kind of get back into our notes here, um, you know, we're as I say, we're pleased to work on the shows for July 23rd and the 30th, and the events this weekend to remind them and their sacrifice are very important to me, and should be hopefully important to all citizens of this country. With the events in Paris, and then followed up by the attacks in Nice, those are things we want to discuss on how these tragedies have changed our collective thoughts through today and the social norms of how we deal with it and come together and support one another. And what do we see as the path we as Americans must take to hopefully ensure our citizens' safety and security for our nation? Is it just dealing with the borders and building a wall or using drones, or is it looking at illegal and legal immigration, what the vetting process there is, or is it declaring war on the Islamic State, or is it all of those things, or a combination of it? What do we need to do? And the other question I've got, what if any do we see the political parties having an influence on these needed changes? We'll see. We've got a tremendous amount of things going on in our community and our nation, and hopefully more people are paying attention. The old adage that this is the most important election of your lifetime. I think I kind of had a little bit of an epiphany about that as I was looking at things this past week and actually talking to my daughter about the elections. I think as Americans, we need to remember that every single time that we're afforded the opportunity to walk into and actually vote for the candidate or person of our choice is the most important election in your lifetime. When there are countries all over the world that don't have that right, their citizens don't get to choose their leaders, whether their leaders are perfect or have faults. The fact that so many countries don't have a choice at all, we should appreciate our opportunity that much more. So realistically, every election, whether it's the runoff election this coming July 26th here in Jasper for the one Board of Education Post 1, or whether it's the election coming up in November, each election is the most important of your lifetime because your participation determines whether you get to do it again in 2 years, 4 years, or 8 years. Because if we don't get out and protect our democracy, our right to vote, and our right to be in the American political system, we stand to lose those rights. So the old adage of freedom is not free is just as important today as it was in 1776. So, question for all, what are your thoughts on what we as Pickens County citizens can do and should do to be prepared in case of an event locally or even in the Atlanta area, like a Chattanooga or a Paris or Nice, France? Just take the time to talk to your family about it. If there is any kind of an incident, whether it be weather related or God forbid something like one of these quote man-made disasters, you have a place to get together that you and your kids and your parents and your grandparents know, with phone services are out that you know where to be. Do you have those provisions to take care of yourself and your family for that week to 10 days if any kind of services are not available for you. And from my standpoint, personal protection, do you have what you feel comfortable with to protect your family? Some people feel that their cell phone is all they need to protect their family. Others need a little bit more. So, whatever your needs are, make sure that you've got a plan and make sure that your family is well aware of it. So, and just a reminder again, July 26th is Election Day here in Pickens County. Early voting is still going on, so get out, campaign, and vote for your choice in Pickens County. We're excited to be announcing that Catherine White will be on with us next week, as well as having her interview. We'll get it posted out on the YouTube side, web, and other sites. You want to dial in on next Saturday morning to listen to what she would do if elected to serve as your Board of Education Post 1 representative. We've also reached out to Mike Coward, but Mike hadn't been able to work his schedule to be on with us. But we'll give Mike time at the mic if he decides to clear his schedule. So we want everybody to know who they're voting for and where those people stand. So we'll be playing some music after the break from the event up there in Chattanooga, and I hope you enjoy that. Hope you have a great Saturday in beautiful Jasper, Georgia. And I also want to thank again our sponsor this month, Senator David Perdue, for his sponsorship, and hopefully we'll be able to stay on David and make sure he keeps doing the good work. Again, thank you for tuning in to the Patriotic Dragon radio program, and have a great weekend. Talk to you next week. Thank you.